Off on Fox Soul. Challengers Quan LX and Big Angry Adams. Ready to go blow by blow on those hot topics. Face Off on Fox Soul starts right now.
Went on your website and realized there's a policy proposal that says your plan, and I'm going to quote it for folks, is to shift the tax burden from overtaxed homeowners in the outer boroughs to more expensive homes in richer and whiter neighborhoods. Explain why you are bringing race into your tax proposal.
That is just a description of what we see right now. It's not driven by race, it's more of an assessment of what neighborhoods are being undertaxed versus overtaxed. We've seen time and again that this is a property tax system that is inequitable. It's one that actually Eric Adams ran on saying that he would change in the first 100 days. He's since sought to defend it and lost at every juncture in court.
And I understand you're saying we're simply describing the types of neighborhoods that would see these increase in taxes, and yet by invoking race, do you run the risk of potentially alienating key constituents?
I think I'm just naming things as they are. And ultimately, the thing that motivates me in this is to create a system of fairness. It is not to work backwards from a racial assessment of neighborhoods or our city. Rather, it's to ensure that we actually have an equal playing field. And right
in this round, here's Charles Big Angry Adams.
Now, let's imagine. Let's just imagine any other candidate, any other race. Let's imagine a white candidate say, black neighborhoods, lots of crime. I'm going to police black people harder and more. That's what I'm going to do. My law enforcement policy is going to be to go after the black neighborhoods with all the crime. And I know I bring this up because we're going to talk about crime and your favorite lie about crime in the next segment. But let's talk about Zoran. There's not another race in America where a candidate could say, I'm going to do this bad thing to an Asian neighborhood, a black neighborhood, a Latino neighborhood. It's just whites. And then we go on national TV, two people of color who, according to like Ketanji Brown Jackson or Michelle Obama in her latest podcast, they've been silenced, right? That's what Michelle Obama talked about, black women being silenced in this country, which is, of course, an absurdity. We talk in all these absurdities, and we pretend that racism is only a one-way street and that it can't happen. It would disgust me at my core. At my core, if any candidate for elected office came out and said, I'm going to go after black people, I'd be like, what? Is this racist? What? That's disgusting. Okay? But when you direct it at white people, which is the literal words on his campaign material was whiter neighborhoods, right? There's no dodging it. There's no avoiding it. He said, I'm going to get Whitey. I'm going to tax Whitey more. Whitey needs to pay more, right? And then we have to listen to why it's okay. It's not okay. It's bigotry. It's racism. It's unacceptable under the Constitution. And frankly, I think it's why another person of color, Eric Adams, is going to march to an unprecedented victory despite all the efforts by the Democratic Party, right, to shut down, to imprison this man, lifelong public servant, lifelong law enforcement advocate for real police reform, because he didn't go along with the BS Biden narratives, right? So, and now he has embraced Trump, which makes sense in that that's the reason why he's still not looking at this kind of made-up indictment, right? But he's going to cruise to a victory. And you have to ask her why. Why did Mondami even get the nomination? Well, it's because that same Democrat Party decided to put all their eggs in the sex pest basket, right? And then you've got to ask yourself, why is it okay? Why was Andrew Cuomo, Mr. Creeper himself, a legitimate candidate? And then you listen to all these voices, and who allowed Zoran Mondami, the child of a radical Islamist, right, whose mother campaigned to deny Gal Gadot the right to participate in the Oscars because she's a Jew, virulent anti-Semite, on the campus of Columbia, right? This young man who's never had any real jobs, right, in his life, failed rapper. Why did he get elected? Well, he got elected because people are unhappy. People are frustrated. But who has created that frustration in New York? Well, it's been the Democrats, right? But now, because they've run out of conservatives to blame, who are they blaming? Well, they're blaming Whitey.
Are you finished?
I am finished. You know what? I can't believe you didn't interrupt me. I had someone tell me that they are tired of watching the show because all you do is interrupt me. Please, go ahead.
And I'm quite sure it was one of your friends who told you that.
It was an absolute stranger.
Who pretend like they like you.
Okay.
But anyway, Mr. Mandami has shocked the Democratic Party. What he did was prove that the Democratic Party is in shambles, and that there's a new guard coming that's rejecting that old guard and that old traditional power of the party. When you look at Mr. Cuomo, he raised and spent over $30 million more than Mr. Mandami. But yet Mr. Mandami beat him in a landslide. What is that saying? That is saying that the young people are rejecting the old party platform. And so the old party platform is now going to get behind Matt Adams, who is a good brother. Matt Adams, who I think was targeted unjustly, and I'm glad that Donald Trump stepped in and stopped that, because he himself was victimized by the same court system in New York to stop them from trying to have an elected Donald Trump and beat him in a courtroom, which I never thought was fair. But Mr. Mandami spoke facts. He said whiter neighborhoods, more affluent neighborhoods. When you look at the statistical numbers, most of the top affluent rich neighborhoods in New York are 95% white. So when you say whiter neighborhoods,
you literally just made that number up.
Let me finish. I didn't cut you off.
I
didn't cut you off. So when you say whiter neighborhoods, white flight from inner cities in America and most of these major metropolitan cities, which were once predominant white people, white flight is real to the outer suburbs, to the more affluent communities. So if he's going to tax the more affluent communities and make the tax base fair, then we have to be honest. He's going to tax whiter neighborhoods. Charles, what we need to be more concerned about is some of the other platforms, because he believes in free health care. He also believes—
I believe in free health care.
But wait a minute.
For citizens?
But wait a minute. He believes in free health care. America is trembling in its boots right now that a man like him, young as he is, could win that nomination from the Democratic Party.
So you don't want to talk about
and he's pushing
the white stuff.
And he's pushing free health care and other quote unquote, as they call it, socialist beliefs and ideas. If that's where the party is going, then the party is absolutely at war within itself. When he said whiter neighborhoods, look, man, it's true. Those more affluent neighborhoods are whiter. You might not like the fact that he said it, but he spoke the truth. So are you upset that he said whiter neighborhoods, or are you upset that he spoke the truth?
No, I'm upset that he is demonizing a race like a racist, right?
How?
And if I said, despite the very real reality that almost white people are only about 30% of the population, a little bit north of 30% of the population in New York City right now. You mistake. He's not. He's actually talking about taking the tax burden. I'm talking taking the tax. I'm talking
for 500 years.
We're
have
just
maintained
not gonna, this new
the
game
majority
is I'm
of the wealth.
Talk until you stop
the majority
interrupting
of the wealth has
me.
been
Because when
controlled
you
by white
say you
people in New
interrupt
York.
me, I defer.
New York don't have a history of spreading the wealth like that.
Again, you're lying, because that's what you do on this show.
White people have controlled the wealth.
I'm going to keep talking until I'm allowed to finish my sentence.
They've controlled
I am going to keep talking until I'm allowed to finish my sentence.
You can, but you're not making valid points.
30% of New York is white. Okay, you said outer suburbs. You're actually wrong when you're talking about New York. In New York, the rich white people live in. They live in Manhattan, on the Isle of Manhattan.
And they live
talking
outskirts
about
too.
taking the tax burden away from the outer boroughs and moving it in, right? But the point is, he's talking about targeting neighborhoods and making them pay more. And it's the same. It would be analogous to saying, oh, well, hey, there are more people in this neighborhood that happens to be largely black that are on welfare, so we're going to charge them more in sales
The most
tax.
welfare recipients in America are white people.
Okay, again,
the most welfare recipients in America are white people.
You're right.
And the most stolen wealth in New York was stolen by white people. A legacy of robbery of people of color and undermining poor neighborhoods.
That you like
it's
to
a
make
fact.
Stuff up. You're right.
You don't want to reap what you sow.
There are more white people in poverty in America than any other race.
No doubt, because you're 230-some million people.
But here's the problem. On a per capita basis, the African Americans are far larger community. In fact, African American population takes more from the federal government government than they give.
We gave more.
Whereas the white
We gave more than
population
white
actually
folks to the federal
pays more.
government.
I'm talking about right now.
I'm talking about right now,
And
too.
I would
We
think-
have given
and
more.
I would
We
think-
built your
and I
country
would
for
think-
free.
and
We
no,
worked for
I get
hundreds
you
of
love that
years.
lie.
You're telling me that we worked for hundreds of years and we got paid?
Of the holistic
So we
white
got paid.
experience, of the holistic
White
that
people
all
benefited
white people are
from that
sitting
free
on
labor.
thrones, right? You're just,
don't
you're
wanna
just
reap
a
what you
race
sow.
hustler. No, you don't
You
want
don't
me to
wanna
be able
reap
to
what
talk.
you've sown.
There's a reason you interrupt me, because you lie all the time, right? And the truth is,
You're just a white
that
man who
it
can't
would
take
be-
the truth
it
about your
would
own
be-
people.
It would be disgusting if a white candidate blamed Black America for anything.
Donald
If a
Trump
white
does.
candidate, no, you know,
White
look,
Republicans does.
it's weird that you say
Conservative
that because
redneck
you are a
Republicans
Trumper.
do.
I'm not a
Conservative
Trumper.
redneck Republicans do. And I'm not a Trumper. I
Okay.
believe in facts.
Okay.
I believe in good policies.
Well, in
I believe in
November-
good politics.
in November
and at
you
the end
were
of the
a
day,
Trumper.
no, that's the lie you
In
want to tell.
January,
That's the
you're
lie you want to
not.
tell. You a
So,
secret
okay,
Trumper.
okay.
You a secret
Oh,
Trump
no.
lover. That's why so many racist things come out your mouth
Okay.
about black
Okay.
people.
So
Look,
hold on.
the wealth
So
has
it's
to be shared
okay-
in New York, man.
It's okay to tax people more because of their race in Quanell's book.
He said affluent neighborhoods.
No, he said.
And most of those affluent
said
neighborhoods are
richer
whiter.
and
the
whiter.
richer neighborhoods in New
Okay,
York are
so-
whiter neighborhoods.
So is it okay
That's
to
a
tax
fact.
people based on race?
What he was speaking about was the rich neighborhoods. And whether you like it or
Okay.
not, they're majority white neighborhoods.
Okay, again-
so it will be white neighborhoods that's taxed at a higher rate. Rich white folks have never
didn't
shared
say
the rate.
that.
Rich folks don't pay taxes. Poor people do.
There is a reason he didn't say that, because he panders to a crowd that loves to demonize white America.
And why you brought up his religion?
Loves to demonize Christian
Why you brought up
America.
his religion?
What do you
Why you brought it up?
Because he's a radical, violent Islamist
Now that's a
who
damn
supports
lie.
Hamas.
You ain't got
and
no
refuse-
proof
No, hold
that
on.
that man has been
Hold on.
violent, committing crimes nowhere.
He is
That's
an
an
advocate.
absolute lie.
He has no. Hold on.
You
Let's
bring
talk.
it up because you hate Islam.
No.
You
I
hate
don't,
Muslims.
I don't like a man that argues that globalizing the Intifada, this is 6 days after October 7th, he argued that globalizing the Intifada was not a cheer and a celebration for the butchering of women and children, right? Instead, it was.
You mean
it's
the
just
butchering of
okay.
women and children in Palestine?
Okay. No, I'm talking
The
about
tens of
October the
thousands
7th.
who've been butchered and
right?
bombed in
And
Palestine? That's what you mean?
Interesting. We had this Bob Billen this week at Glastonbury in Scotland cheering to murder the IDF and all the Palestine flags out there, right? You know, the thing with Glastonbury is a music festival that is not at all unlike the Nova Music Festival, where a bunch of radical Islamists supported by Zohran Mamdani with his express words ran up and did machine guns into the crowd, killing young adults and children.
You mean Hamas?
Right? No, I mean Gazans.
You mean
right?
Hamas?
Well, Hamas and Gaza are the same
Did
thing.
Israel financially create Hamas?
I get it. I get
Did
you.
Israel financially create Hamas?
I know you.
Did Israel put tens of millions into the establishment of Hamas because they hated Yasser Arafat? If Israel hate Hamas, you created Hamas yourself.
Oh, you mean by
so
giving,
let's tell the truth.
By giving billions in aid to Palestinians that was diverted?
Israel gave actual money to the creation of Hamas to be a rival group against Yasser Arafat and the PLO. So you want to condemn Hamas, condemn the Israeli government who set them up and paid for them.
So you don't condemn Hamas?
Hell, y'all condemn evil.
Okay.
But I condemn the Israeli government for being the Frankenstein that created the monster.
I know. It's whataboutism. It's no personal
I'm
responsibility.
giving you facts now, baby. You don't like it.
You don't live in a world of personal responsibility.
I live in a world of absolute
You live in a
truth.
world of false
I live in a world
grievance
of absolute
and
truth.
pretend.
You
And
want to condemn
Zohran
Hamas,
Mamdani
but not the folks who
has
created it.
grown up. He moved to this country at 7. He pretends that he had this life. He went straight into private school. His dad's an Ivy League professor. He, much like his partner, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who has just been outed as a fraud as from the block because she grew up in the suburbs herself with affluence. It's all this nonsense narrative to pander to struggling people. That's the saddest thing, right? That you have a number of New Yorkers who are hopeless, right? People of color, white people that just don't see they can get out of the boot of financial oppression. There's no opportunity left. And it's all going to the truly ridiculously affluent, right? Which in New York is actually incredibly multicultural, right?
Charles, in America,
and the thing is,
you realize that
that's when they
5%
embrace the evil
in
of
America,
not socialism, but communism.
But Charles, in America,
which is the
5%
vehicle
of the
that
population
radical Islamists, which is about
controls
25%
of the wealth.
of Islam,
Well,
right?
why is it 5% of Americans control 93% of the wealth?
Well, mostly
Something's wrong with that picture, Charles. Let's talk about that.
Most of the wealth is actually controlled by 0.1% of the 1%. And that's the grand lie of the socialist Democrats, which are really communists.
Let me say this
is they want to go after the middle class and the upper middle class and pretend they're rich, right? Wow, hey, you want to talk generally about Madami?
Donald Trump is a billionaire.
How about
Donald Trump was born into wealth, inherited 100-something million to start his business. I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
Because you say Mr. Madami, who went to an affluent suburban school, Miss Cortez, who went to an affluent suburban school, they're fakes because they can't champion for the poor. Damn it, how can Donald Trump champion for the working class in America when he's never been a member of that working class? He was born into privilege. But you appoint our Cortez and Madami going to affluent schools. Donald Trump may be the champion of the working class, and he's a billionaire.
What I'm pointing out,
you white folks, I tell you, you're something more. You're really something special.
What I'm pointing out is that they made these false narratives. They made up stories about their life to make them seem like they overcame the struggle.
White folk don't do that.
Trump didn't, right? Trump
they don't pad their resumes with lies.
I'm talking about overt absurdist lies, right? And Zohran Madami is really, oh yeah, Biden's a human stain, but he lied. He said he had 3 college degrees. He alleged that he got into the Naval Academy, which he didn't. He claimed to be at the top of his law school class. He was at the bottom. Biden has got away with lying all his life, right? But what I'm talking about and what you don't want to talk about is targeting a specific race for a higher tax burden. Right? If a politician said, I'm going to target any other race for anything bad, people would be losing their minds.
They did
but
that.
it's okay because it's white.
Hundreds of years.
I know.
And another 60 years of Jim Crow legislation and Jim Crow segregation.
Oh, yes, Jim Crow was
for
horrible.
a whole another 70 years.
And no one's
after
defending
slavery.
No one's defending
And it wasn't
Jim
until
Crow.
1968 that America decided to try to be fair and balanced to some degree. And that did not work because they didn't pay reparations. They gave crumbs and called it a handout.
That would have fixed it, right?
Come on, Charles.
So here's it is. So you're admitting that taxing white people more is just like Jim Crow, but yet you're still supporting it. So did you support Jim Crow?
What I'm saying,
because I didn't.
No,
I think it's
white
disgusting.
Folks founded Jim Crow.
Okay, you're
white
right.
folks got rich from Jim Crow. And now guess what?
Just already
and now
rich
that
people.
the same weapon that your people created is being used against them, you now want to cry victim. Well, you didn't cry victim when you benefited from Jim Crow. You didn't cry victim when your people got rich from Jim Crow. You didn't cry victim when you became the world superpower from Jim Crow. But now that weapon that you created is being used against you, you're crying crocodile tears.
I'm sorry.
I don't give a damn about that.
Maybe you don't really know what Jim Crow was. Jim Crow was based in the Deep South. Right? It was not all over America. It had nothing to do with America becoming a superpower.
In law, it was in the South. But it was practiced all over America with black folks in New York City, too.
For the members of the Deep South in an effort to continue control over African Americans. And it was actually our court system that destroyed it. I mean,
what's our court system?
The American court system.
The American court system never really destroyed it.
Okay.
What they did, they transitioned to the convict lease program. And the convict lease program became a new way of legalized slavery. And right here in Texas, the convict lease program made Texas hundreds of billions of dollars from that convict lease program.
Making up numbers.
No, I tell you what.
And what's funny
Charles,
is you sound a lot
I
like
will give you the facts, man.
No, you don't. You just make up numbers.
You don't want to look in the mirror. You want to look in the mirror and see everybody else, but you don't want to see the history of your own people.
I'm beautiful. But Zohran actually articulated his criminal justice policies, and he talks about vulnerable incarcerated people and the need to let people go at the age of 50 and all this. And it's just like you talking about vulnerable.
Depending on the crime, Charles.
Well,
if it's not a violent offense, we got too many poor people with petty crimes in prison.
Zohran just argued that violence is a construct because he's a little Ivy League bubble.
You have to show me what he. Show me those words.
Maybe
What is a bestie?
I like you.
She's fun.
It's about to be a good time.
She's always looking out for you.
Since you're my bestie, I will handle it for you.
She makes you think.
Here to uplift and empower.
She's always encouraging.
You are that girl.
Chelsea Edwards, your bestie in daytime.
I get the spiritual moments.
Chatting with Chelsea. New episodes weekdays at 5:30 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
Hey, it's your girl, Carolina Sanchez, and The Nightcap is the late night show where no topic is off limits. Join me as we dive into the wild world of relationships, sex, and everything in between. From hilarious dating disasters to steamy secrets, you know we've got it all. We've got celebrity guests, expert advice, and a cocktail in hand. The Nightcap is your guilty pleasure. So grab your drink and tune in because the best stories start after dark.
The Nightcap. New episodes weeknights at 10:30 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
Ready to lose track of time the best way possible?
Rolling!
From the funniest videos to the wildest things online, we do the scrolling so you don't have to.
It's Usher. He had that synthetic hair melting. You hear me? Why y'all talking about that lady hair like that? Ain't he alone?
Catch us every weeknight, 7 p.m. Central on Fox Soul.
Louder for the people in the back.
Well, on Fox Face-Off, we tell the raw, unadulterated truth.
Fox Soul Face-Off
We are given the platform here with no fear.
always comes out swinging.
We should be saying, hey, stop shooting and killing people.
Nothing held back.
They wanted black hip-hop moguls and artists to continue the feud.
No punches pulled.
And shut the hell up.
You
and
interrupt
let
me all the
speak to my
time.
people.
Tune into the show where opinions collide. Fox Soul Face-Off. New episodes weeknights at 9 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
Ladies and gentlemen, in America, a multitude of these problems created on economic discrimination, discriminatory practices are based on historical racial wrongs committed against people of color in this country. And too often when that is pointed out, white people want to cast a blind eye like they're Ray Charles, and they don't see the truth of what's really going on here. To recover and to repair that damage, there's going to be some painful steps taken by this nation to fix the problem that they created. But you can't tell us to just move on and forget, because they don't tell people of other nations to move on and forget. They make sure that the repair is put in place and taken care of. That repair has to take place in this country because the economic disadvantage is rooted in discrimination and racism of white supremacy in America's shameful and wretched history. Whether they like it or not, you gotta fix the problem you created because you reap what you sowed. And now that we see these problems, and now that we see the pain of the cost of fixing them, then we want to pretend like the people who've been damaged don't need repair. I disagree with that. But Charles, you go right ahead.
Well, I guess I'll start a little bit early. I mean, first of all, no one's asking anyone to forget about anything, and I almost certainly don't think people should have to forgive, although it seems odd to want to expect that we need to beg for forgiveness as people that just share a mutable characteristic with people we don't know for things we didn't do, right? But his argument at its base is white people should accept being discriminated against today in 2025 because of things that happened decades ago. Of course, affirmative action has been a real thing in America since the 1970s, and it got more and more aggressive over the last 30 years to the point where white American students and Asian American students just couldn't expect to get into schools, elite academic institutions, unless they had some incredibly unique athletic talent or they were married into grand wealth, which is also the lie of the holistic white experience, both in yesteryear and today. And it goes down to the root of the lie of the institution of slavery. Slavery still exists in America today. And when people like LeBron James tout their Nike clothing line, or any of these people that are making millions and billions of dollars off of slave exploitation in Asia, in Africa, that still exists. And you talk about the existence of slavery and the end of the institution of slavery. Well, of course, it was the British government that led that charge throughout the West. And that's why everyone is still fighting to come to the West that he pretends to hate. Taxing white people more than other people is a disgusting idea, and it'd be disgusting if it was done to black people as well.
I wonder if you know that I want the best for you. But how long will you fight solo? I wonder if you know that we can get help. Not wondering anymore. Love, your mind.
I was a quarterback at Hardaway High School. College first round draft pick. During the football season, I would stop eating. But I didn't know I was depressed. We didn't have any education behind what mental health was. I started to learn it starts here first. If this is together, I'll be better as a father and as a husband. We have to redefine what being a strong man is and heal. Love, you're mine.
Ready to lose track of time the best way possible?
Rolling!
From the funniest videos to the wildest things online, we do the scrolling so you don't have to.
It's Usher. He had that synthetic hair melting. You hear me? Why y'all talking about that lady hair like that? Ain't he alone?
Catch us every weeknight, 7 p.m. Central on Fox Soul.
Louder for the people in the back.
As we work to get through these times together, you may not be thinking about blood donation, but blood is needed to save the lives of people who are sick with a range of illnesses. It's easy and safe to give. If you are in good health, please donate. We need heroes now. Visit redcrossblood.org to schedule an appointment.
That's it for the Face Off on Fox Soul. We'll catch you next time.
I wonder if you know that I want the best for you. But how long will you fight solo? I wonder if you know that we can get help. Not wondering anymore. Love, your mind.
Hey, it's your girl, Carolina Sanchez, and The Nightcap is the late night show where no topic is off limits. Join me as we dive into the wild world of relationships, sex, and everything in between. From hilarious dating disasters to steamy secrets, you know we've got it all. We've got celebrity guests, expert advice, and a cocktail in hand. The Nightcap is your guilty pleasure. So grab your drink and tune in because the best stories start after dark.
The Nightcap. New episodes weeknights at 10:30 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
Ready to lose track of time the best way possible?
Rolling!
From the funniest videos to the wildest things online, we do the scrolling so you don't have to.
It's Usher. He had that synthetic hair melting. You hear me? Why y'all talking about that lady hair like that? Ain't he alone?
Catch us every weeknight, 7 p.m. Central on Fox Soul.
Louder for the people in the back.
I was a quarterback at Hardaway High School. College first round draft pick. During the football season, I would stop eating. But I didn't know I was depressed. We didn't have any education behind what mental health was. I started to learn it starts here first. If this is together, I'll be better as a father and as a husband. We have to redefine what being a strong man is and heal. Love, you're mine.
Well, on Fox Face-Off, we tell the raw, unadulterated truth.
Fox Soul Face-Off.
We are given the platform here with no fear.
Always comes out swinging.
We should be saying, hey, stop shooting and killing people.
Nothing held back.
They wanted black hip-hop moguls and artists to continue the feud.
No punches pulled.
And shut the hell up.
You interrupt me all the time.
Tune into the show where opinions collide. Fox Soul Face-Off. New episodes weeknights at 9 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
As we work to get through these times together, you may not be thinking about blood donation, but blood is needed to save the lives of people who are sick with a range of illnesses. It's easy and safe to give. If you are in good health, please donate. We need heroes now. Visit redcrossblood.org to schedule an appointment.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie, nailed it. We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
I'm Isaiah Carey, here to shake things up with the stories that hit hard and matter most. Here on The Factor, we cover news with grit and authenticity. We challenge the status quo and get down to real talk and bold discussions. Join us as we amplify the voices that disrupt, inspire, and lead the charge for change. Your story is power, and we're here to unleash it.
The Isaiah Factor Uncensored. New episodes weeknights at 9:30 or stream anytime on Fox Soul. The Isaiah Factor Uncensored starts right now.
And welcome to this very special edition of The Factor Uncensored. We're in Houston's historic 3rd Ward, where the Queen herself, Beyonce, is on display at Grooves. Now, we had a chance to talk to some of her biggest fans. They're part of the Beehive. They're in town for the concert at NRG this weekend, June 28th and 29th, and we will talk to them a little bit later in the show. But first up, top news, the U.S. Supreme Court made several important rulings, from Obamacare to birthright to porn. We gathered a panel together today, so right now, let's talk about it.
Well, the gang is all here after some crucial rulings from the United States Supreme Court that will affect the Trump administration. First on the list, birthrights.